This is actually a technique that Neville Goddard taught in the back of the Wilshire Ebell Theater to my grandfather. And it's something, I've been getting a lot of requests on this, and I wanted to cover this in a video because I can't answer all the questions. But a lot of people are coming to me with all these different techniques. And I said, listen, this is the only one that you need to do. If you just focus on this one, and you don't need to do all these other ones, because this is the fundamental part of changing your concept of yourself. This is the biggest one. And then maybe you'll be led to other things afterwards to do, but this is the one that I began with, that I dedicate most of my success to, really. But it led me to other techniques too. But don't overcomplicate things. That's what I want to say too in this video. Do not overcomplicate your manifestation. Creation is finished. You already have everything that you desire right now. Understand that. Like, the future is already completed. The past is already, just like the past. You understand and believe that your past is completed because you remember it. But the future is actually already completed the same way. But we're just passing through it in the 3 dimensions of space. But it's actually in the 4th dimension. Okay, so this exercise was taught in the back of the Wilshire Ebell Theater by my grandfather, and I also implemented this. There was some talk about this being a $3 million method. But back then it was, if you were to correlate with inflation, it would be much more than 3 million now. But I don't believe you should put a number on it. And really, there is no number associated with the actual exercise. So don't put a number on it. This you can create. I'm going to give you a few different examples of how you can use this. It doesn't necessarily have to be the same exact way that Neville Goddard explained it, or the location that he explained it. Neville Goddard wanted you on a cruise ship doing this, okay? And if maybe you've heard about this technique, and maybe this video came to you because you need to start doing it again. All right, so I'm gonna fill you back in with that. So hang on here with me. So Neville Goddard taught this to my grandfather, and they did all kinds of other stuff to influence their conscious minds in order to expand those things and skip, certain things to get themselves into this place where they know creation is already finished. They're connected to consciousness, and they feel themselves into these visual scenes. But the visual scene that Neville Goddard taught was that they were on a cruise ship. You were on a cruise ship, and you're imagining you create 2 friends or 2 family members or 2 people that you know fairly well. And that was something that was emphasized by Neville Goddard, that the people need to be 2 people that you actually know and you're very familiar with. That way you can bring them in and really see their faces and their body language. So that's the first thing that you do. You get a hold of 2 people in your own imagination, download this information. You can even go talk to the people first to download, just look at them and then study them, or look at pictures of them. That way you can use it for your imaginal act. But you go on, it doesn't have to be a cruise ship, but he used a cruise ship. You can use this anywhere you want, like a house that you want to be living in, or an exotic island that you want to be at, or wherever you want to be. Okay, it doesn't matter. You choose where you want the location to be for this, whatever makes you feel, successful. And that's where you want to be. All right, so you imagine this, you're sitting or you're in a pool, or you're in a deck chair at a pool, the one that Neville Goddard gives, on a cruise ship. And then you see 2 of your friends or your family members approaching you, and they are congratulating you on your success, and they're getting very emotional. And it's like, and another part that Neville Goddard gets into about this is that I also implement, is you're already successful. You've been successful now for quite some time. So you're skipping the transactional part of the manifestation process, or like that, to where it's super exciting for you. You've already been successful. It's already done. You already feel it. And then your family members or your friends are coming up to you and congratulating you on this. And they come to you, and you can kind of create this scene yourself with their body language as they're coming up. They're crying, or they're just super excited for you. And then you hand them money from your pocket. Like, you have a stack full of $10, $20, $30,000 in cash, and you hand it to them, and you give it to them. You say, because there's nothing to you, because you're worth $50 million now. You're rich, successful, you have more money than you could ever spend. And you create the vividness of this. Like, you bring all your senses in one at a time, and you just bring it in, you make it completely real for you. You're on this cruise ship, or wherever you want to have this. All right, so you create one sense at a time. What are you seeing? You're drinking, you're touching things, you're smelling. You can smell and taste the salt in the air if it's the ocean. You can kind of use your imagination with this and really bring in, the realness of the vivid scene, and just start bringing this in. But the main part about this is being congratulated by other people. And I like this because it's not the transactional part. And when you're bringing this in with your family and your friends, it's not you that's telling them that you're successful. It's them telling you. And what this does is it bypasses a lot of parts with your belief systems, with the subconscious mind and your feeling states. And when other people are telling you things like, oh my gosh, you're so successful now, you've made it, everything has worked out for you perfectly, and they're telling you this, you're like, you know, you're kind of tricking the subconscious mind. Your states of consciousness are shifting, and you do this right before you go to sleep at night. Because that's, as we know, that's the moment of inception. So you want to create this entire scene, and you're creating this feeling state of other people congratulating you. You're not telling them anything. They're telling you, you know, of your success because they know it to be true. So this is like a trick and a hack to the subconscious mind, which is pretty cool, I think. And I think now looking back on it, at first when I looked into it, I didn't know like how well it was actually designed until after I've already been successful now using it. But now and studying it for so long and doing different exercises and figuring everything out, coaching, that this exercise is actually probably one of the best, if not the best thing that you could do to completely change your life and manifest just tremendous things to come into your life. Because as we know, feeling is the secret. And you're not, and the way that Neville Goddard did it, it was very strategic, because other people are congratulating you, and it's not at the transactional point of when you just became successful, like just won the lottery, or this just happened. Okay, you're pushing it way past that to where you've been successful now for 3 months or 6 months, or you're already rich, you're super rich and it's over, you know, all that stuff, and you're not super excited about it. It's just like a natural feeling of you now being successful, and other people have now acknowledged this truth of your new concept of self. And that's what's so amazing about this. But I wanted to answer this, and because I was getting so many questions about this exercise or about other exercises where people are putting numbers and they're creating all this other stuff that they want to put into their manifestations, that really, this one has been proved to work. My grandfather used it, I used it, I've known countless other people that have used it, and it's worked. And I wouldn't overthink your manifestations or overcalculate your manifestation. It really doesn't have to be hard to change the inner world. And that's a good point, or a good part to understand with all of this as well, is that creation is already finished and you already have everything that you desire right now. So understanding that and getting that deep down into your core, you're living in a simulation. You're in a dream state right now. Your world is just an illusion. Creation is already finished, and you can shift by simply changing your states of consciousness and your feeling states. Just knowing that it's not real can really help assist you with that. Or you can use flow state. Flow state's another really good one that I created myself personally, actually, from reading all of Neville Goddard's books. And I was reading Your Faith is Your Fortune, and he had a technique in there, but it wasn't about flow state. I just incorporated multiple things from multiple books and put one technique with it. But it's the brand new. You're brand new to the world. And what this does is it just eliminates the analytical mind completely, like Joe Dispenza talks about. It completely removes the analytical mind, because you're getting into the feeling state that you're brand new, like you were just born. So you don't have a past. So the past is reliant, or the analytical mind is reliant on your past, and that's how it predicts the future for you. That's what it uses to create images in your mind, to where your future is like already being created. But once you eliminate the analytical mind, or you eliminate your past, the analytical mind has nothing to go off of anymore. It's no longer, it's quiet. You're lowering the volume and almost completely eliminating it by simply telling yourself that. Like, you can implement this into your daily routine, where you tell yourself, you stop yourself. You go into a quick meditation, even for like 30 seconds, take a few deep breaths. You say, I was just born. I'm brand new to the world. I just landed here on my spaceship. I don't have a past. I was just born. And then you can really create feeling states, powerful feeling states, from being in that state, because the analytical mind isn't blocking you anymore. And you can like bypass, you know, all that stuff, all the blocks. So implement that in your daily routine. Start practicing that feeling state. I just landed here on my spaceship. And that's truly how I felt, dude, when I got out of prison. When I first got out of prison, I was there for 8.5 years. So that, you could imagine, just imagine that for 1 second, how long that is. So being in a completely different place like that, and totally excluded from the world for that long, coming back, and erasing everything, reading so many books, meditating, doing physical training, being away from, you know, the actual world, but actually, you know, developing myself, developing my mind, and creating intention and present moment awareness through this whole process. You know, all of that, doing all that. So when I came back, I was in 24-hour, you know, flow state at that point. And I still am, you know, but the simulation can be tricky. You know, I'm not saying that I've completely mastered the movements of it, you know, but I'm doing pretty well. I'm doing pretty well with it. But that's what I wanted to share with you guys in this video. Start implementing that $3 million, or Neville Goddard. I don't even want to call it the $3 million method because he didn't really put a number on it. My grandfather said it was 3 million, but I'm not sure. You know, he said that Neville Goddard said that, and that's not part of the visualization. So I'm not sure if the 3 million is a part of it or not. All right, guys, I love you. I'll see you in the next one.